Hello and welcome back. My name is Brandon Watson. Today in this video we're going to do another little watch list as well as recap the last watch list that we did. We had a few that popped off at the beginning of the week and a few that took off towards the end. So let's go and get started with a little DHI. DHI, let's see. Well, DHI, like I said, was going to probably consolidate off the 9 EMA, which it did. Starting to pop up, come up off of it. Let's see. We look towards... Last watch list was on the 29th, so the first would have been the first day that we get in, which I did get into a DHI, scaled in. It's only gone up almost 6.5%, so nothing too crazy. I do think that this consolidation is still going to take some time to push through, but it is looking good for right now. Let's go ahead and move on to QFIN. QFIN was a good one. QFIN, let's see here, did pop immediately the first day on Monday, gapped up from Friday. Let's see, what was that gap? That gap was 5% gap, pushed up. Let's see, from its close, it came up almost 12% for that day on Monday from Friday's close. But if you got in on that day towards the bottom, about 7.5%. I don't really like to get in on dips, or I'm sorry, on gaps, because usually those gaps have to come back and retest, which it did 2 days later. Looks like on Wednesday, hit my line almost perfect. Let's see, I have my line at 17.75, and the low for that day was at 17.73. So I was pretty close. Let's see, to the top 15%. If you would have swung that one day to the next. We're not perfect, so maybe about a 10% if you would have scaled in there. Not too bad. That's pretty good. Let's check out ADMS. ADMS popped immediately. Another gapper that came up. Let's see, gapped up 12%. The entire range for that day, though, was a 46% range. So that popped quite nicely. Again, it was going to be a little tough jumping into something that had gapped up from the weekend. And I did jump into ADMS before the pop. Let's see here, because that happened later on in the day. I had about 10 shares somewhere in here, so nothing too crazy. I was just testing it out. I did not expect that to happen, but for whatever reason, ADMS popped up and gapped. Yeah, popped up and gapped even on the 5 minutes. So there was some news that happened and then immediately just came back. And like I said, I only had just a few shares in there. I didn't expect that pop to happen immediately or at all, really. So I was unprepared and in something else. But if you managed to get inside of that, that was a nice push. 46%. KBH is another one that I think is still going to form inside of this consolidation for a minute before popping up into the $50 range. This consolidation overall is looking pretty good and still holding. So let's see, what is that, $40 as a support. We have $40 here as a support, and $43.75 is going to be our current resistance. This was going to be the one that I said was similar to Zillow and how that had played out when it pushed from 60, or when it had trended from 60 to like 100 and whatever it is now. Let's see. Yep, 158, and that zone was right here, $64. So yeah, I'm not saying that is what's going to happen to what is that, KVH, is that it's going to go up 100%, but you never know. We'll see. NNDM, let's see, on the first held that support, created a wick off of it. If you would have bought the support, scaled in. Let's see, it's not letting me, that's snapping to my line. Let's just point it from here. about 22% gain from 13.25. And that one was just going to be a quick swing. Unfortunately, it has not pushed up into that $18 range. It ended up making lower highs, and it is also making higher lows. So there is a possibility for this to continue on and push higher, although this is going to be some kind of consolidation unless hype or some type of catalyst comes in and just drives it forward from here, which anything can really happen with that. You never know, but we'll see. I mean, it is possible that it comes back to the $14 range and just consolidates off of here before pushing up, but I'm not going to speculate on that. That is not really a trend as of right now. That is consolidation. So if you were to jump into that, the best idea would be to really wait for support to form and hold, and then trend off of a known support. I would not just jump into it immediately if you're not in it already and looking to get in. And the last one we're going to have is going to be DBI. DBI looks like it's still forming. Let's see here. On the first, so the first they had dropped and hit a low of 11.64, consolidated sideways up to this 9 EMA, 11.65, so 1 penny higher on those lows, and has gone up 11% from then, and still has a potential to go up another 12% to the next resistance, 10 to 12 at $14, 10 to 12%. Otherwise, we have a 16% resistance for about 25%. Did I say 16 cent? $16 resistance for about 25%. So I think that this wedge is still kind of forming. It is again making these lower highs and forming these higher lows. Though the way that it looks, it is a possibility that it does trend and recover back up to this $16 target. We will see. But the watch list did fairly well. DHI did 6.5%, QFIN 15%, ADMS 46%, KBH 7%, NNDM 25%, and DBI 11%. So the only two that are really lagging behind, although I did state that they were going to be slow movers, were DHI and KBH. Those are still forming, I think. That is my opinion. But that's the last watch list. Not too bad. Let's start building a new one real quick. And by the way, looks like BLDP is up 172% since the last time I called it towards or since, let me see, I have it in one of these videos, the 31st and October 19th. So that's pretty good. I like it. Just wanted to say it. BLDP looks like it's still gonna go, but this right here is not the trend we're looking for anymore. That boat took off. You know, another one that had pushed was ENDP. Let's see. That was on Tuesday. Right? The 2nd was Tuesday. Yep, sure was. Sure was. I was inside of that one, 33%. That's the other one that I was in. Yep. Because it was pushing up this day on the 1st. When ADMS pushed up that 46%, I was already playing around with ENDP, and that one came up 33.7%. So that one was a good play. It might come back down to this 8. Looks like it's losing momentum here. Could retest 8 before going back to 9.6, maybe 10. There was at 11.24. resistance up here, but let's see if we can find something new. All right, I think the first one I'm going to add is going to be FBIO, Fortress Biotech Inc. I've had these lines here from before, and just at a glance, it looks like there is this gap that needs to be filled. Low 4.11 that was from October 9th of last year. So we'll see if maybe we can close that gap. What would that be? 5-6%, and if it can form, continue to push back up to that resistance, which it double tapped at 4.78. That'll be a 21% push. Now let's see, we go to FinViz. FinViz is showing last upgrade was back in October for $9. That was the only one for last year. Everything else was for one upgrade was going to be for 2019, 2018, 22 in 2017, and one in 2016, and they were all for about $9. One was $10, one was $11. No average price target on FinViz, although the relative volume is picking up, so I do like to see that. Beta is good as well. Let's see, let's go back. So let's check out the weekly. Weekly back in 2018 used to be 5.54. Let's extend this out. That matches up over here to where it popped up and came back, rejected that level. Let's go over to the monthly. Monthly, that actually forms really well. Bounced off of this that level. What is that? 4.78. So that range between $4 to $5 is going to be an area of resistance on the monthly for where we are at right now, although it does look like we are starting to pick up and form into that. Those EMAs on the monthly are going to be super hard to turn up. So let's see, let's go back to the weekly. If that clears, I'm not going to go any further back, but let's just say from here, because I like how we popped up over this level and got rejected again. So we'll say that 950 is going to be the target. Go back to the weekly. If we can get up to 5.5, that's 40%. 40% on the weekly. So it could take some time. It could definitely take some time. And if we're just looking at the next resistance besides this gap to close, which is almost 7%, back up to 477 is close to 22%. So that's going to be the more immediate. Even this one right here at 4.5. 4.5 is going to be the more immediate resistance levels that we have to watch out for. But FBIO looks good as a potential. And it is a biotech, so it can definitely get the volatility to move. It doesn't seem like the earnings, last earnings was going to be in November. Does FinViz have it updated? Nope, sure does not. So we'll have to check for that. What is this right here? Earnings on 3/15, so it's going to be March next month. We got a little bit of time. If anything, I would like to see this hold 3.84 and kind of build up the way that it did right in this area back in November, late November. Form and then push through instead of getting rejected again, but it does need to form off that level and then hold and push up. So we'll see. FBIO looks good. Real quick, I will say I'm not going to add it to the watch list because I already put it on there before. IMGN looks like it has been forming off of this 25 EMA and trying to build into that $8 resistance. Next level we have is going to be at $9, so from 8 to 9. Currently from where it's at 772. to 9 is 17%, 17.5%. Let's see, weekly. Wow, weekly, yeah, I can hit that level. So it looks like it is trying to form and push into it. So we'll see if those wedges can actually push through on the weekly. But aside from that, just a quick update on IMGN. Another quick update. Looks like NIO formed this resistance around $54, got rejected, came back down to 40, pushed up through it. Now we're getting rejected near 66. Getting rejected near 66. And if this consolidation can hold, and of course hold and push through, as always, then that's about 11% to 72% to $100. And I think NIO could potentially have the attention and hype behind it to get to $100. So as you can see, several times NIO just consolidates inside of this channel. And you might not be able to see that. Let's see. There we go, a little bit better, a little bit better. NIO just consolidates in this channel between 11 to 16-ish. We have another channel here between 15 to 20. What was that, 15 to 20? Next one is this consolidation here between 40 and 55. Now we're building it between 55 and 60, 65-ish. Whatever that zone is, it's never going to be exact, but there is going to be a range to it. So NIO, with time, could potentially get up to $100 with the right hype, behind it, right catalyst behind it. I'm not going to add it to the watch list. That's just a little update. Okay, the next one I'm going to add is a little small one, AMPY. AMPY is, let's see, what does FinViz say? AMPY, energy, oil, and gas. Last targets were back in 2019 for $10. Average price target on FinViz is 2.20. Not promising there. Don't really care. But what we do have here is this nice consolidation after a drop from 5.89 on the 52-week highs. 200 EMA is starting to flatten and maybe even turn up a little bit. Oh, it's starting to turn up a little bit. Yep. So let's go and draw some lines real quick. Again, we have this volume that built up, large volume spikes. Let's see, 3 mil, 5 mil, 7, and then back down to 5, 4, and close to 3 million right there. So I think over the last 52 weeks, someone's been building up a little bit of a position, and it's starting to trend back up onto these EMAs. Let's see, let's get those lines on there. Let's get those lines on there. Easy, easy. Nothing really to it. All right, so what we have here on the first resistance is going to be about a 48% pop up to $4. If it can get there. If we can first hold this 2.2 region. This consolidation right here is quite nice because that lines up back here around what is that, June 5th, when it first popped up and made that resistance. Now we consolidated and pushed up and over it. So I think that we're going to start to hold now and make our way back up to $4. Let's go back to the weekly. Let's extend our lines out. So that little support that barely held for a day lines up with this bounce that happened on the weekly back in 2019. Extend the rest of these out. It doesn't really give us too much, it looks like. Let's draw one more as this support holds, pushes up, and then starts to form a resistance here that gets rejected every time it comes up and over it. So I think that's the last line we need. Let me just double check these lows. It is possible that it gets rejected around $4 mark and continues to make these lower highs. So I would say $4 is potential. $4 is a good potential before it might get rejected again. Otherwise, it might not get rejected again and could potentially pop back and go back up to the 52-week highs near 6, which would be a nice little 123% gain from where it's at now, roughly. So I do like AMPY, oil and gas. I don't know anything about Biden and all this stuff, but from what I keep hearing is that he's good for oil or energy, or I don't know. I'm just saying stuff because I don't pay attention to any of that. I just follow the trend. Let's see what else we can go and find. Okay, the next one, let's do a little CDEV. CDEV looks like oil and gas is doing well again. CDEV. I have this line from before at 4.52. The weekly. Let's extend these out from these lines. Looks like this resistance was a support before on the weekly. They got rejected before it came back down to 24 cents. We're at 3.31 now. Let's draw one more line just to see where we might go, because we have been up to $23 before. So from here, with that 200 EMA on the daily starting to curl up, that's really good. 35%, 89% up to that 6.25. We'll say $6, so about close to 80%, a little over, if it can get there. Has this little consolidation that formed near 250, from $2 to 250-ish. So we'll see if it can pop up and hold. A little pop up and hold action. Nearly 50%. I like it. CDEV added. Hold on real quick. Little Finviz action. Price target 218. Not good. That's all right. Maybe things haven't changed yet. These are all going to be lagging in information, and the price action is telling us something different. It does have the earnings coming up on the 23rd. How long is that? That's about 3 weeks, 2 weeks from now. 2 full weeks, and then a Tuesday after that from now is when it is. So that could be potential. That could be potential. Just watch out for those the earnings on the 23rd. Yep. But CDEV, we're gonna add it. I like it. And if you want to see something else, check this out. Little AVXL action. Oh man, if you remember AVXL, I bought back here. What is this? Back in November, it dropped, or it popped up, and I got a little bit of it. I couldn't maximize that, but I didn't come back into it. I didn't look at it again, and man, look at that. It popped straight up to $28 when I had it originally at like 5.42. I want to say, with like almost 1,000 shares. So that would have been nice, but I would have had to have held through this large drop that I had from 760 down to 4.8. What is that? That is a 36% drop. So yeah, I did not hold through that. I did not hold through that one bit. From the very bottom to the top, that's 500% in 2 months. But let's say that we did not catch that. Instead, we waited for this resistance to pop up right there, and you could have had 375% in 8 days. 8 days, little AVXL action. It was only a matter of time, and it actually popped up and held that $12 level from before. Like I said, where'd that come from? Where did that come from? Oh, came from all the way back on the monthly. All the way back on the monthly in 2008, 2009. That's why I leave my lines there. It could hold potentially. I mean, I don't know. There's a little gap right here, little gap action right there. So it might not hold, but if it does, I mean, that'd be interesting. $12 back up to 28, 138%. But that's big time risk, and I would not recommend that whatsoever. Not at all. I just wanted to show you that it was interesting. But let's go ahead and get back to it. Real quick, I'm not going to add this one, but ENLC, this is another oil and gas. Let's see here. ENLC, I just want to show you is another just real quick, I just wanted to show you that ENLC is another oil and gas. So it seems like oil and gas is starting to gear up, similar to the way that a lot of the gold stocks are gearing up before the large push. So let's see if the consolidation were to push up and through the resistance, about 22% to the 52-week highs. Let's see on the weekly. Weekly near $8. Yep. A lot of oil and gas maybe might have potential to push up close to 50 to 80%. Whatever reason it may be, this is certainly interesting. I don't want to add too much oil and gas, but you kind of get the picture now. You kind of get the picture now. I think it's a matter of finding out which one has the better relative volume then, I guess. ENLC only has relative volume of 0.57, so that's not that great, but it is worth noting. Yep, ERF, another oil and gas, same thing, consolidating. Let's just check ERF. I'm not going to do this for all of them, but I want to see price targets. Relative volume 3.52 on this one. Volume, average volume 1.76. Regular volume 6.2 mil. Let's see, last target was $12 back in 2019. No average price target on FinViz. So it had a lot of volume come up. Yep, that's been coming up since the beginning of January. Has earnings on February 19th. February 19th. Let me just draw some lines anyways, since it does have high relative volume. I like that. Potential. If things were to hold. Let's not forget the little support action. Extend that out to the left. You can see here that this is the resistance that it's formed off of, and now it's holding as a support. We'll need the same thing to happen around the $3.75 to $4 level. Pop up, hold as a support. Let me draw this right here. On the bottom of that bounce. So I'm gonna say price needs to consolidate here between that $3.70 to $4 range before trying to drive through up and over. Like I said, it does have the earnings here on the 19th of this month, so anything can happen. Another oil and gas ERF, I will add that one. That's the last one I'm going to add, only because of relative volume being so high. I like that. Let's just see, on the 3rd, sector news, energy stocks ending near Wednesday session highs despite late fade. Nope, that's nothing. Nothing. So let's move on. Man, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But I think I'm going to add another oil and gas. I think so. This is a STNG Scorpio tankers. And I'm not going to add it because I am a Scorpio, but I am adding it because of this consolidation. It looks like it's the start to the trend, so might be catching it ahead of time or fairly early on into that trend. We're looking at pushing at 14.67 right now. We're just over the 200 EMA. Needs to hold for sure, not get rejected. I doubt that it will. This is oil and gas. Next resistance is going to be about 1870 for a close to a 28% push. Next resistance after that is going to be back here around 2166. So that is going to be roughly 50%. Back up to the highs, 52-week high, near 28. 88%, just like all the other ones. Just like the other ones. FinViz shows average price target 19.25. Last price target increase was March of last year for $30. Relative volume not that great, 0.95, so just barely under 1. We need that to increase to about a lot, and that would be nice. Increase about 1.25, maybe 2, maybe 10, maybe 20. Oh man, that'd be crazy, but $30. $30, I think 30-ish, the way that all the other ones are looking. Oil and gas, roughly about 80 to 100% push. Let's just add that just to watch. Doesn't mean anybody has to play it. Doesn't mean it has to be played at all. These are just looks like it's time for oil and gas, huh? I think the last one I'm going to add is going to be ACB, Aurora Cannabis. Aurora Cannabis. Seems like there is a support that had a, or not really support, but it bounced at $17 before getting rejected near $20 and coming all the way down to $5.50 before bouncing and pushing back up into it, getting rejected, coming all the way down to $3.71. And let's see, seems like we are trying to form upwards. We're starting to, at least, get these higher lows. So if this comes down, when you get price to come down and retest this 25 near 11, that would form around this base back near the 26th. So we can, if we can bounce off that, I think that would be good. That would also bounce off that resistance here around 1110. So I'm going to draw that line right there, 1110. I'm thinking it's going to come down to there and then try one more time to push through 14 and maybe succeed this time up into 18. So we can get 1110-ish. We'll up to back up to 1350 is going to be at 22%. That's really good, actually. Up to 17.2, it's 55%. And if we have to start looking past that, let's draw just one more for now. Oh, look, there's a gap. There is a gap. There is a gap right back here, right on that 52-week. Dang. So it's possible it's gonna maybe try and close that gap. Let's draw a line right there. Draw a line right there, and let's name this close. Maybe. Show that on the right. Boom. So now If we can get that up to 24, my favorite number, from well, let's just say from where we're at right now, in case the 200 holds up to $24, it's 87%. If it does come down to 11.10-ish, it's about 117%-ish on the gain, just up to the 52-week high gap. And if we're looking on the weekly, man, it's been up there for sure. So I'll draw one more line here, 54.65. Yep. But that's going to take some time. Let's worry about this gap close maybe, and try and push up through. Little ACB action. It is possible, I guess. You have to watch out for these earnings though, which is going to be on February 11th. February 11th. Watch out for those earnings that might link up. With that drop. Actually, maybe we dropped the day before on the 10th. Is the 10th even a day for us? Sure is. That's a Wednesday. Maybe it drops down by Wednesday and then starts to push for their earnings, if for whatever reason they have good earnings. I'm not going to speculate on that, but as far as the trend goes, I think it is a possibility. So ACB is going to be the last one to do it for us. And so I appreciate you all coming by. Again, if any of the information proves to be helpful, I would certainly appreciate a like and subscribe. I appreciate all the likes and subscribes, and feel free to drop a comment below. Feel free to come into the free Discord and hit us up in there, talk stocks, and I hope you all have a great week. Thank you for coming by. Take care.